questions to ask throughout a campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming on even deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch alongs to the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South they flying, keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Transfer Weekly episode 2. We're back to players again now. I know last week we was talking about managers, but this week we're back to players, and for every week after this, we'll be talking about players just like usual. As always, thank you very much for watching the last episode. Remember to put the comments down below on who you want me to cover next week. But yeah, this is Transfer Weekly episode 2. Let's get straight into it. Unfortunately, the Wilfried Zaha era has ended. It seems to be that his contract that he signed for 5 years ago, is now finished. And I'll tell you what, he's had some incredible times in the Palace shirt, and this really has been the Wilfried Zaha era of Crystal Palace. I mean, most importantly, he is the most pivotal player in Crystal Palace's whole career, purely because the amount of times that him single-handedly has kept us in the Premier League, gotten us promotion out of the Championship, and done it all on his own, really. He has been the only player that has seemed to have carried us and dragged us through thick and thin, and probably one of the last loyal players that there are out there for a single club, because people don't seem to stick around anymore. Palace have given him a memorial to show our gratitude to him for what he's done to us, for keeping us in the Premier League, for getting us into the Premier League. It's on the side of a house on the top of Holmesdale Road, so if you guys want to have a look at the images, I'll probably put one there just for you guys to see. It is absolutely incredible. I've driven past it many times, taken a picture. I haven't taken a picture next to it, actually. I need to do that next time I go down there. But, you know, it looks incredible, and it's something that he deserves, really, for everything he's done for us. However, he has been offered a new contract by Crystal Palace. It is £150,000 a week, rising to £200,000 a week. I'm guessing that's going to be start bonuses, goal bonuses, assist bonuses, and a number of appearances as well. So he can earn his money, definitely, but I think he wants a 4-year deal, but I think we're only offering him a 3-year deal, which is important because, you know, the age of him, we don't want to commit ourselves to such a big contract for such a long time if his performances are going to be dropping off. But he has been offered exactly the deal that he wants from Saudi Arabia. He's been offered £30 million. Talk is that he's turned it down, but that's a hell of a lot of money, and I doubt he'd want to move his whole family over there when he's got 2 young kids, and they're probably all settled in pretty well in this country. So, yeah, he'll probably reject it. However, there are 2 other options other than Saudi Arabia. Atletico Madrid and PSG. I tell you what, Atletico Madrid would be brilliant for him. He'd get the European football he wants. He'd get to play under Diego Simeone, which would cause a lot of trouble for teams in the Spanish league. However, PSG is probably best for him. Looking like he's going to be the Messi replacement, which is our GOAT going to replace the GOAT of the last generation and the current generation of footballers. And I think that's great. Just the legacy that he'll leave behind, being Palace's best ever player, and then going to replace the best ever player as well. It just writes itself in history. He's in France, probably one Eurostar to come back to the country, not too far away from home in the grand scheme of things, pretty easy journey home. And I think he'd do all right over there, you know. If he gets given the game time, that league, he's getting trophies, which is what he always wanted. And you know what? I need a PSG shirt. It's overdue. And I tell you what, PSG shirt with Wilfried Zaha on the back of it, I'm definitely buying it. Obviously, it's sad that he's going, and he probably is going because there are more and more rumours coming out that we are looking at replacements for him now. But Wilf, all the best. Thank you very much for everything you've done for the club. You're always a Palace legend. I hope you actually get a proper statue rather than just a painting on the wall. But you deserve it, man. Thank you very much. Jean-Philippe Mateta looks like he's leaving Crystal Palace. He's not very happy with the amount of game time that he's been having at Palace. And apparently we're looking to get 15 million for him. I tell you what, if we can get 15 million for him, I need to give Parish, Dougie, Roy, whoever's involved in that deal, they need a memorial at the corner flag that he's been kicking, because how the hell are you swindling that? Let alone 15 million, even 10 million, they need a memorial, because that they're doing the impossible. Honestly, he's been a decent player for us, scored some very lethal goals, like really important goals, like Millwall, Watford, Brighton, most importantly the Leicester one lately, because that just started our run of 3 wins in a row. You know what? He got involved in the fans. He loved the fans. I'm probably more upset about the song leaving rather than him leaving. But I tell you what, I really hope wherever he goes that he'll take the song with him and that their fans will love it just as much as we have. He said when he came to Crystal Palace that he wanted to use us as a stepping stone, but unfortunately that didn't seem to go too well for him. But, you know, it happens. Teams like Leicester, and I think a team just got promoted into the Serie A, want him as well. Teams like Everton and places like that. I hope he does well, man. I've got nothing against Mateta personally. I think he might rather a trip back to Germany maybe, but I've got nothing against him. Just seems to not be good enough for the Premier League, unfortunately. Maybe for another team, if he gets game time, he can do it, but you know, just seemed to not work out, unfortunately. But that's with Mateta. If we can get some money out of him and then invest that in a new striker, then I'm all for it. Next up is Jack Butler. This transfer weekly is looking a bit depressing so far. 3 outgoings. It's more of a done deal with Jack Butler, though, but I'll cover him anyway because I feel like I need to. He's currently made a permanent transfer to Rangers on a free. He did spend the last 6 months at Man United, where he won a Carabao Cup with them. Didn't really play that many game time, but, you know, he did what he needed to do. Unfortunately, you know, he didn't really do too bad for us. He just came along at a really bad time. We had 3 really good goalkeepers. We had him, Gaeta, and Sam Johnstone. Gaeta was playing really well. Sam Johnstone was fighting for his place and being injured. When he got his chance, I think the season before last, where he played in the cup for us, listen, he done well. Most of the games he played, he did really well, saved a penalty against Brighton. And other than that, nothing really went wrong with him. Millwall. But, you know, it's just tough for him. We've got 3 really good keepers, starting quality keepers, and just couldn't keep them all. We let him go out to better his career to Man United. He did get a medal, which I'm very happy for him. And now he's number 1 at Rangers. So I hope he carries on his career. And I'm happy that Palace didn't slow down his career. So, you know what, Jack? He really bought into the fans as well. And I hope he has a good time in Scotland and hopefully wins a few more trophies up there. Let's get into some proper transfers now. Rumour has it that Dougie Freedman's actually gone over to Brazil to watch this player play for Flamengo, because he is their 19-year-old winger, midfielder, Matthias Franca, 19 years old. Previous transfer weeklies, I have covered him. Please click the link in the description. I'll show a screenshot of that video up here as well, because I've already covered this guy in January. And we was going to buy him, we weren't going to buy him, you know, we don't really know what was happening there. But it's very interesting to see that we're looking at players from the Brazilian league now. Last time we had a Brazilian was a very long time ago. I think Moritz maybe, or even the last South American we've got. I know Lerma's just come in now, but you know, let's see how that goes. However, the 19-year-old Brazilian forward, which currently plays for Flamengo, has a contract which expires in 2027. So he's in contract for a hell of a long time. Very versatile forward, left wing, right wing, attacking midfielder, maybe striker with some cheeky finishing in there. He's got lots of flair, tons and tons of flair. Loves linking up with other players, playing nice little cheeky 1-2s all the time. And I tell you what, he's got some attributes which I'm very surprised by. He's got great 1v1 situation, like he can use skills. I remember a clip that I seen of he's standing off against someone and rainbow flicks them. Like just something like that is something that we really need to see. Cheeky skills, as I said, he's got the wraps, he's pacey, he's fast, he's strong as well. And something which I'm really surprised about is he's really, really good at tackling. He's good at pressing from the front. He's good off the ball. At such a young age to be that strong and that fast and that aware off the ball to press from the front and try and score in that way is really impressive to have that kind of mentality for a younger man. By the sounds of it, Friedman and Parish want this guy as a Wolf Zaha replacement. However, I seem to believe that he's more of an attacking midfielder, more on the left wing. He can play on the left wing. We have seen clips of him coming in from the left, doing just as good. But you know what? I think that to play him, I think we need to change our formation ever so slightly. Instead of playing with a left wing an attacking midfielder and a right wing, I think we should just have 3 attacking midfielders. But a left attacking midfielder where Franca would play, an attacking midfielder in the middle where Eze would play, and a right attacking midfielder of Eze. That means they'd bring the wingers in a little bit, but actually that would suit Elise a bit more, means he gets more chance of shooting on goal with his left foot and less time on his right foot. This would also help Franca because he can link play going through the middle, can go out wide, can come inside much easier. The only thing is that this formation would definitely work, just need fullbacks, but not going to talk about fullbacks, that'll be another episode. So obviously in the Brazilian league, stats are a bit different. Please look at a previous video if you want to see his stats for the whole season, but they sort of played their season within the year. So 2022 was a whole year season, 2023 is just the start of their season, so they're sort of halfway through. So stats are a bit strange, so here we go. With 6 starts in 13 total appearances, he scored twice and he has no assists in all competitions. Obviously not that impressive, but the eye test does him wonders, because how he plays, how he's so silky with the ball, how technically good he is, I think it just makes up for it. Transfer Marks is calling him at like a £5 million player. However, for him being 19 in the Brazilian league, I don't think that Flamengo want to let him go for anything less than £15 million. I think £15 million, you're buying potential. Someone that young, you've still got resale value, even if he is half good. Overall, is he a Zaha replacement? Not exactly. He will fill the hole, but not exactly like Wolf Zaha. Maybe we should look at more players like this, looks to try and slightly change the formation and get someone that's maybe got the same potential Zaha had a few, 10 years ago. So it's all a building process. Overall, I'd like to see us take the risk on him. That's about it. On to the last one. Jack Clarke, the 22-year-old English left winger, which currently plays for Sunderland and has had an incredible season this year. He has had time to link up with Amad Diallo, who was also there on loan from Manchester United. He's the one that stole the show of all the goals and the assists. However, I think that Jack Clarke has sort of gone under the radar because of him, and maybe because of that reason we can maybe snap him up for a little bit cheaper. I know that Burnley have submitted a £7 million bid for the guy, and Sunderland swiftly rejected that. Honestly, I think 15, 16 million pounds would be a generous offer for obviously an English person who's got the English tax and someone being so young and so good with the ball at his feet. Great finisher, can drive with the ball when he can. You're not the fastest guy in the world, not the strongest guy in the world, but he loves to cut in on his right foot. Basically like an Elise type of player, but on the other side. And I'm not sure whether that'll be a good thing or a bad thing, having 2 very similar kind of players on each wing, because both of them don't like to stretch defences or cross too much. But, it's something that we can work with, and if he's that young, we can definitely develop him. His career, he started at Leeds, then got bought by Spurs, then he got sent out on loan to QPR and Stoke, I believe, and then Sunderland finally bought him for £3.5 million last summer. And I tell you what, that's got to be £3.5 million well spent by them, because they're looking at now £15-16 million for that guy in one season. So most likely I'm going to see that he's going to be staying at Sunderland, but you never know. The option to play football with Eze, Elise, maybe a new striker, Chet Decore, maybe a new right back, it'll be a very inviting prospect for him, and he might look forward to coming to Palace. He doesn't quite fit the normal Palace mould. He doesn't have dreadlocks, unfortunately, but I'm sure if he spends enough time with these Donnies, he'll be able to grow some. Yeah, £15-16 million will be a real steal for a player like him in this current market. I'll go through some stats with you, so apologies for looking away. In 44 starts and 45 total appearances this season, with 9 goals and 11 assists in the Championship, he registered 1.4 shots per 90, missed 5 big chances per 90. Great numbers, great injury record, hasn't been injured this season at all, played pretty much every game, doesn't like to go to the touchline and cross, likes to come inside and shoot a hell of a lot. 5 big chances missed. Obviously, he's going to grow. He's going to get better with both feet, not just his right foot. He has registered 1.7 key passes per 90 and 75% accuracy throughout the whole season. For a winger, that is a very high percentage, purely because they like playing probing passes forwards, risky balls, everything. So having that high of a pass completion rate is very impressive. Similar to Franca, good defending from the front, does like to press off the ball. However, he does need to restrain himself a little bit. 9 yellow cards, not good enough. 1.6 tackles is even better though. Much higher than Franca. And I tell you what, that's an attribute that we need. As I said with him, we really need people to press from the front. Elise has been doing it a lot more lately, and it's just improved his game so much. So, in my opinion, he's more of a Zaha replacement than Franca. However, Franca, you can get a lot like a different dynamic of player, and with Clark, you're sort of getting a sort of Zaha similar player. Obviously, both of these players are in great form right now. Any of them would be a great plus, but please put in the comments who you think you would rather out of the two. Personally, I'd probably go Franca. I think there's a bit more development in there. I think that he's got a bit more about him, a bit more to grow, a bit more already, better mentality that you can defend from the front. However, there is another guy that I'll cover next week that I think will take the crown for both of these guys. And actually, it looks like we're closer to signing him than these two. So let's round it out. So yes, guys, that's it for Transfer Weekly this week. Please put in the comments people you want me to cover next week, where you would rather Zaha go, who you'd rather out of Franca and Clark. But obviously, guys, I really like making these kind of videos. I'm happy that you guys are enjoying them as well. I'll see you next week. As always, like, share, subscribe. This is JC from Eagle Eyed Football, and I'm out. Up the Palace. Go.